Welcome back, once again adventurers, to Let's Play Steins. In the last episode, Rintaro finally managed to track down Moroka Kiryu in the streets of Akihabara, our errant lab member 005, to question her on where she could have possibly absconded with the IBN 5100, which she has a rather unhealthy obsession with, and which we actually need to actually crack CERN's proprietary database. Unfortunately, things just keep getting weirder. Even though Moroka should have already known where the IBN 5100 was being kept at Yanabayashi Shrine, because of course Rintaro had informed her of this little detail, which was probably a bad move on his part. It appears that somebody else has taken the IBN 5100, it would seem. Which is still very ominous for us.
最低な男だな。殴ってくれても構わない。
I know you're feeling apologetic about accusing Moroka of stealing the IBN 5100, but I don't entirely trust her motives for it. In fact, I'm keeping a close eye on Moroka here.
俺は機関から命を狙われ続けた結果、誰も信じることができなくなってしまったんだ。
And once again, Rintaro is giving his usual Hoenn Kyoma speech. Why? Why did I have to be born with these gifts that others so coveted?
俺は常に疑心暗鬼で、どれだけ仲間に囲まれていても、いつも孤独を感じている。滑稽だよな。
I don't believe we should be above suspecting Moroka in this case, because, yeah. I know that the message that she showed us was wanting to keep her old phone in lieu of replacing it with the one that she had when she sent the email, but given her unique typing powers, I still believe that she actually I would still believe that she sent herself the location of the IBN 5100 so that she would actually get it before we did. Just pointing that out. And apparently, according to her text, I believe she did. All she cares about is the IBN 5100. I do not trust your motives at all.
つうかオカリンさ、秋葉の路上で芝居始めるとかどんだけだよ。暑さにやられた。
And Daru is a critic, as always. So Moroka doesn't know I had an IBN 5100. And judging by her responses, she hasn't found one either. So something has happened. I feel like I'm getting farther and farther away from my goal, because without the IBN 5100 we can't actually access CERN's database and see what they're really scheming. We know about the SED program, we know about the Jellyman's report, we know about the Committee of 300, but we still, well, we do technically know about what CERN's ultimate goal is, courtesy of John Titor, which is the absolute subjugation and control of not only space but time itself. But we still don't know what other plans they may be scheming.
前から思ってたんだけど、萌香さんって綺麗な人だよね。スタイルも抜群だし、背も高いし。
I think you just want to use Moroka for as your latest cosplay guinea pig, since Rukiko clearly has some issues with it.
コスプレさせたら映えそうだな。
And I would ask Rintaro to hand me his phone, because I called it. Also, Mayuri said something just now that actually doesn't make any sense. For a second I doubt my ears. I approach Mayuri.
お前マイカのことを知っているのか
So somehow Mayuri remembers Morica, even though she didn't after Morica sent her email.
知ってるよ。
なぜ知っている
I grab Mayuri by the shoulders and shake her. Her head bounces back and forth.
ああ
I hope somebody doesn't call the cops about this.
おかりんが連れてきたよ。
Well, that is indeed how the future Gadget Lab members met Morica when she was inducted as Lab Member 005. But after she sent her message, which basically changed the world line, according to the others, nobody actually knew her because they hadn't met her.
俺がダルはあの女のことを覚えているのか
And yet somehow they do remember her.
桐生氏なら前にラボで挨拶した罠。
So somehow this particular encounter has been rewritten into the world line. After Morica sent her email, Mayuri, Daru and Kurisu behaved as if they never met her before. That's because they didn't. But now both Mayuri and Daru know her. And if these two know her, it's almost safe to say that Kurisu knows Morica. Does that mean Morica's past was reconstructed again? Given the timing, it has to be Ruka Ghost's email that did it. But all he did was tell his mother to eat a lot of vegetables. How can that be related to the lab mem's knowledge of Morica? Is this another example of the butterfly effect? The cause doesn't match the effect at all. Not the D-mail cause, to be sure. The only other theory that we can put forward at the time is if the D-mails weren't the cause, then something else must have happened to change the world line.
ねえねえおかりん。
Or at least the events of said world line.
そろそろフェリスちゃんのお家に行かないとね。きっと待ちくたびれてるよ。
And Mayuri reminds us that we have an appointment with Faris NyanNyan, in her home of Akihabara. Let's think about the Morica issue later. Hopefully you won't forget about the Morica issue, because that would be terrible. Right now we should look for the address written on the memo pad.
時にマユリフェイリスの本名は何ていう
We should probably keep this, we should probably keep Daru out of this particular conversation. Too
バ
late.
カ、オカリン何言ってんだ。フェイリスさんの本名はフェイリスニャンニャンショー。それ以上でも以下でもないじゃん。
Says the man who refuses to call Rintaro Okabe Hoin Kiyoma, much to Rintaro's disappointment.
現実逃避はよせダルフェイリスニャンニャンは所詮源氏名だ
Therefore, as a result, Rintaro has absolutely no qualms about shattering Daru's perception of Faris. As
うわ
revenge.
最悪っすよ。なんで純真な男たちの夢を壊そうとするかな。
Probably because he refused to acknowledge him as Ho in Kiyoma. Quit grumbling. You just can't handle the truth. I would show you a clip of Jack Nicholson screaming those words from the film A Few Good Men, but once again, I don't want to be stung for copyright.
ではいる。どうなんだ？知らないの？
I would believe so, but I wonder how Mayuri feels about letting certain trade secrets out of the bag.
マユシーが教えちゃってもいいのかな。
特に口止めされているわけでもないんだろう。それにこれから自宅に行けばすぐにわかることだぞ。
Well, I suppose that's true. If her real name is on her address at her house, then this discussion would be rather moot, wouldn't it?
あ、そっか、そうだよね。その代わりね、他の人には内緒だよ。例えばメイクインに来るご主人様たちとか。
I do solemnly swear to keep this knowledge from Daru's consciousness, if that helps. I nod.
あのね、フェリスちゃんの本名は秋葉ルミホちゃんって言うんだ。
So Faris's true name is Rumiho Akiha. That is an odd coincidence.
聞こえない。
And now Daru is pretending to be a cat. Daru covers his ears and drowns the sound out.
アキハか。
The same characters as in Akihabara. Appropriate. And it looks like we're here. Our destination turns out to be the high-rise apartment building next to UPX. That is a very large apartment building. And it appears that Mayuri is completely lost in this view.
マジで
As is Daru. And Rintaro would
高
seem.
級マンションだと？
I don't think anyone ever expected Faris NyanNyan to be living in such a tall high-rise building. We stand there for a while, staring wide-eyed at the towering building before us. According to the address Faris gave me, she lives on the top floor, all the way up there.
住所聞き間違えたか？
Given Faris's penchant for spinning tales from balls of yarn, I would say that that might have been the case, but I don't think so. No, I wouldn't make such a stupid mistake.
まさかフェイリスは機関の手に落ちたのか？
Somehow I doubt that, Rintaro. I don't think they'd hire cat maids. I quickly scanned the area. No suspicious figures in sight.
怪しげな黒服連中に命じられるまま俺を組織の網の中へと呼び寄せ一網打尽にするつもりだな。
I suppose, I would think that if she did have men in black at her disposal, we would have seen them by now.
妄想を打つ。事実は小説より奇なり。
Indeed it is, Daru.
それにあのフェイリスタンの素顔が実は金持ちのお嬢様だったとか。うわぁ、超燃える展開じゃね？
Given that the fact that she lives at the on the top floor of this apartment building, which I would essentially assume means that that's the penthouse suite, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the
お
case.
前こそ妄想オツだな。
Although Rintaro believes otherwise.
とりあえず
Not that it matters.
入ってみようよ。
And Mayuri is getting impatient to see where Faris lives, so we should probably get going. Otherwise she might get impatient. When we call the top floor room via intercom, we're greeted by the voice of an elderly man. He lets us in immediately once I introduce myself as Hoin Kiyoma. It feels like we're walking into a trap, but I can't turn back now. The moment of truth. When we get off the elevator, the elderly man from the intercom is there to lead us inside. He turns out to be a silver-haired gentleman in a tuxedo.
リアル執事さんだ。
Apparently, Mayuri is rather impressed at the fact that Faris has an actual butler at her disposal, at her beck and call. And also we got a mail from Kurisu. Home alone. Is it okay to leave me alone here? I'm an outsider, remember? I could steal all of your precious future gadgets. Can reply to outsider. You are not an outsider, you are a lab mem. If we reply to future gadgets, Horin responds with, if you really want one you can have it, for a price that is. I don't think Kurisu is going to pay any amount of yen for what is essentially... I think she would consider our current assortment of future gadgets to be nothing more than worthless junk. But we actually want to respond to the outsider keyword because this is the next step in acquiring the first flag of the true ending. Believe it or not, we're not done with the first flag. So there, we still aren't any closer to getting the other 5 flags, which just goes to show how tricky getting the true ending is. At least for the first time around. He does indeed look like a stereotypical butler. He fits the build so well, you wouldn't think he was wearing anything else.
お嬢様、法院京馬様とそのお友達の皆様がお越しです。
And the butler is introducing us to Faris NyanNyan, his mistress. Also, interestingly enough, he actually knows Rintaro as Hoin Kiyoma. He's probably been instructed to by Faris. The butler leads us into a room. Even though we can already see the room before us, it's pretty elaborate, if I do say so myself. Faris is standing before a large window with a panoramic view of Akiba. That is true. This truly is a penthouse apartment, by any standard.
黒木、ありがとにゃ。
And apparently the butler's name is Kuroki. I've never seen her wearing anything other than the usual maid uniform, so it's refreshing to see her in her plain clothes. And yet, why does she still have her cat ears on? Probably because she's Faris NyanNyan. I want to ask. I can't help but wonder. But I restrain myself. Even if I did ask, Faris would just say something like, I was born on these, nya. She probably would, Rintaro. Knowing her personality.
にゃにゃ、マユシーとダルニャも来たのかにゃ。
And she seems to be surprised that we came with guests. Faris's eyes twinkle when she sees Mayuri and Daru behind me.
フェリスちゃん、こんにちにゃんにゃん。
And Mayuri responds in NyanNyan in kind.
むほ、フェイリスタンの私服姿とか可愛すぐる。
And Daru's just ogling Faris. I silence the mouth-breathing Daru, but introducing his ribs to my elbow. Hello.
マイリとダルが勝手についてきた。迷惑なようなら帰らせる。
Somehow I don't think that Faris would mind that Mayuri and Daru are here.
構わないにゃ。みんな、ようこそいらっしゃいませにゃ。
Well, we are all acquaintances after all.
というか、 自宅でもその語尾は変わらないのか？
I don't think she ever stopped speaking NyanNyan. Ever.
何のことかにゃ？
And my Faris puts on an air of absolute innocence.
あくまでとぼける気か。秋葉ルミホ。
But Rintaro is not fooled, and reveals that he does indeed know Faris' true name, Rumiho Akiha.
フェイリスはフェイリスにゃ。
And yet, true to her character, Faris completely and absolutely stonewalls us. Whatever.
しかしこの家は一体どういうことだ？秋葉の一等地の超高級マンションとは。
Probably because she can afford to do so, considering the fact that she has an actual butler in her employee. And yet she works at a maid cafe. I look around the room again. The interior design and furnishings give off a very refined impression. That they do. It's elegant without being ostentatious. It's not overpowering, it's actually a very settled room, if I do say so myself. Actually, it's kind of like a model home. There's nothing to suggest this room has been lived in. No dirty clothes, no used dishware, not even a speck of dust. That butler, or maybe even some real maids, if there's a butler there has to be maids, right? Must constantly be cleaning up. Speaking of Kuroki, he's disappeared. I didn't even notice him leave. He's clearly a master butler if he can move about so quickly. I wonder if he knows Alfred. I wouldn't be surprised if that were the case.
お前一体何者だ？
The all-important question, who is Faris NyanNyan? And the answer to that is...
だからフェイリスはフェイリスにゃ。
Faris NyanNyan. What were you expecting, Rintaro? Faris says it so nonchalantly.
とぼけるな。ちゃんと説明しないならば帰らせてもらう。
Well, there's nothing stopping us from doing so, Rintaro, although that would actually be somewhat rude of us to do so, considering that we're actually here to see her in the first place.
なんという偉そうな態度。僕たちってフェイリスタンにお願いしに来た立場じゃなかった？
And Daru once again is clearly embarrassed by Rintaro's antics.
ふにゃー。じゃあもうちょっとだけ詳しく話すと。
And Faris is rather upset that Rintaro isn't playing along, like usual.
この辺の土地はもともとうちのものだったのにゃ。
は？
That would explain a lot. I think we know what she just said. It just took a while to process. This land originally belonged to her family? In fact, that would actually explain everything.
そっか。だから秋葉さんなんだね。
That is correct. Faris NyanNyan's family ancestors were the ones who developed and founded the city of Akihabara. Mayuri's exclamation connects the dots in my head.
秋葉という姓。まさか秋葉原の代々の大地主の名だとでも言うのか？
That would appear to be the case. Faris nods with a proud expression. So Daru's theory about the Faris being a rich girl character was right on the money there. Indeed she is.
ちなみにフェイリスは秋葉の都市開発計画にも結構な発言力を持ってるにゃ。
I wouldn't doubt it for a second, now that we know your family heritage. Faris wriggles her slender waist and makes a gesture like a cat washing its face.
秋葉の各ショップに萌え文化を積極的に導入するようお願いしたのは他ならぬフェイリスなのにゃ。
So basically all the moe shops in the entirety of Akihabara owe their existence to Faris NyanNyan.
わあ、すごい。
That is some considerable clout indeed.
フェイリスは子供の頃からそういう会議に出たりしてるのにゃ。
It's actually interesting to know. So basically the chaotic changes in Akihabara are all a result of this cat girl's whims? Scarily enough, yes, that is indeed the truth. What a monster indeed.
でも今の話は内緒にしといてほしいにゃ。
Faris' expression suddenly darkens and grows serious.
なぜだ。
知りたいのかにゃ。
And Faris is wearing her trademark cat expression. Faris approaches me with a bewitching expression.
それは。
That is because what? Faris gently strokes my cheek with her cool, slender fingers. I feel myself falling under her spell. And then she grins.
フェイリスはフェイリスだからにゃ。
How could we not have seen this coming? We completely fell for the old Faris' Faris trick once again, Rintaro. Completely stonewalled. Damn you, cat girl. How dare you make a fool of me? Yeah. For some reason, the notion of Faris standing next to Catwoman from Batman, aka Selina Kyle, I can actually see that happening there, to be honest.
というわけで、みんなにはこれまで通りフェイリスラブの大ファンとして接してほしいにゃ。
But Faris wants to remain Faris. Just an ordinary cat maid. Daru starts fist pumping when he sees Faris' cutesy act.
接します。全力で接します。
I believe that Daru would take your secret to the grave
マ
there,
ユシーもね。
Rumiho.
フェリスちゃんのファンだよ。フェリスちゃんのメイドさん魂はとってもすごいんだもん。憧れちゃうよ。
And Mayuri is also praising Faris. Mayuri and Daru might have fallen for her charms, but not I. Marin Karin is ineffective against Hoin Kiyoma.
俺はフェイリスラブなどではない。
I thrust my finger at Faris.
あまり調子に乗らないでもらおうか、フェイリスニャンニャン。でなければこの高級マンション全体が血に染まることになるぞ。
She could probably sue us for property damage if she so chose, Rintaro, not to mention the fact that she just mention she has considerable influence in Akihabara?
家にわざわざ呼びつけて自らのセレブっぷりを見せつけ、この俺との交渉において精神的優位に立とうとしたのだろうが無駄なこと。
Actually, no, it's not. That is not the reason why we're here.
俺は狂気のマッドサイエンティスト、法王院京馬だからだ。
Faris and Mayuri are staring blankly while Daru is completely irritated at this point.
いい理由になってね。
Now Faris will tremble in fear and beg for my forgiveness. Somehow I doubt that. Or so I thought. But instead, she looks at me with gleaming eyes. Our brutal assault was completely ineffective.
自分を貫き通す人って素敵にゃん。
Why do I get the feeling that Daru is going to completely disown us altogether, thanks to that statement?
なんだと？
You misheard her, Daru. That's my line. I wanted to threaten her, not seduce her. Is Faris a masochist?
正直なこと言うと、あんまりフェイリスのこと話したくなかったにゃ。
So Faris doesn't like talking about herself.
これまでいろんな人と会ったけど、アキハの跡取りって話すと、みんなフェイリスをフェイリスとして見てくれなくなるのにゃ。
Well, you don't have to worry about that with us. You're still Faris NyanNyan, unfortunately. And we got a response from Kurusu. Eh? It's a disgrace to be thought of as your partner. People will start doubting my character. Anyway, finish your errands and get back here. It's the only one we can respond to. Then why do you keep coming to the lab? In truth, you're so happy to be a lab member that you can't help it. Isn't that right? We're definitely going to get a sarcastic response from Kurusu, methinks, at some point.
フェイリスとアキハルミホは分けてみてほしいのにゃ。
So she doesn't want people treating her as Rumiho Akiha, or at least the people who are her patrons at the May Queen Cafe.
分けるも何もお前はすでにフェイリスニャンニャンとして確立しているではないか。
And Rintaro concedes the point. He's perfectly willing to play your game.
その点については全面的に同意するぜオカリン。ニャンニャン語を話し猫耳をつけている時点でそこにいるのはフェイリスタンだ。
You are truly a terrifying Faris NyanNyan otaku, Itaru Hashida.
意識しすぎているのはお前の方だということだ、フェイリス。
And Rintaro gives a sincere opinion.
そうなのかね。
お前は自意識過剰なのだ。俺にとってお前はどこまで行っても勝てる気がしない猫耳メイドでしかない。
That is true. You are truly unbeatable, especially at Rynet Access battlers.
ありがとにゃ、今日も。
Why is she thanking me? Well, she's probably admiring my incredible magnanimity. Now then, let's finish this idle gossip and get down to business. The important truth.
それでフェイリスよ。IBN5100 を探す代わりにお前が要求する交換条件とは一体何だ？
Need I remind you, Rintaro, that it was Faris's father, not necessarily Faris herself, that is the retro PC maniac.
よく吟味して条件を出すことだ。俺の右手は一度解き放たれるとあらゆるものを破壊し、後には何も残らない。
Are you prepared for the consequences of such an eventuality, Faris NyanNyan?
大丈夫にゃ。
Apparently so. Our attack was ineffective there, once again. Faris points at the cat ears sticking out of her head.
この猫耳にはあらゆる能力を完全無効化するニャンニャンクリアという力が備わっているのにゃ。
It appears she is truly an unbeatable cat maid.
今日の力が暴走した時はフェイリスがきっと止めてみせるにゃ。
Our attack has been negated. And we have no counterattack to that. I shouldn't have mentioned my hand to Faris. Faris's most terrifying power is one known as Dubbing 10. It allows her to steal other people's stories and add them to her own. I'm the one who named it, of course. The 10 doesn't really mean anything.
さてさて、それでは発表するにゃ。
Apparently, Faris is going to tell us exactly what we need, but of course what that will cost.
フェイリスからの条件は
What is your price, Faris NyanNyan? Faris chuckles. But I notice something. Her eyes aren't smiling.
タイムマシンを使わせてほしいにゃ。
That is a That is quite a price you have before us, Faris NyanNyan. And with that ominous silence that has now descended, I believe this is a good time to end the episode. When we return, we shall have to see whether or not Rintaro will consider Faris's offer to use the PhoneWave TBA and to send a D-mail, because that is clearly what she wants in exchange for information on the IBM 5100. So I will see you all in the next episode, adventurers. As always, until next we meet.